What is up, YouTube? AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock here with another episode of Team Gradelock Unlocks Week. We're going to be going over the latest Cardfight Vanguard episode, Ride 181, as well as results from our local and any more news that we have from Team Gradelock to you, our subscribers. So let's get right into it. Ride 181. Spoiler alert, you haven't seen the episode yet, please pause and close the video, go watch that episode, and then come back right here so we can discuss about it. Of course, if you don't want to do that, please click on the link in the description down below, get right to the results of our local. So Ride 181, Manly Big Bang. We get to finally see the conclusion of what happened between the card fight between Sarah and Naoki. And boy, is it an interesting one. Because the way that was all set up, and sorry, please disregard all the Skype notifications on there. What happened here is Sarah gives some background on his own country, especially in South America, that how a lot of the feuds are settled with card fights instead of actual duels to the death. And of course, this is just another way of saying, I'm going to make you all forget that you ever came here, and I'm just like the same villain that says, oh, if you actually had a chance, you had to defeat all four of us if you ever want to get to Aichi. And so this is the beginning of the end, hopefully. So we see Sarah perform Legion, and pretty much what happened was he refilled his entire field off of the crazy combo that he had with the Legion skill. Just abusing, well, not really abusing, but like just utilizing the C-Strolling Banshee to the Soul Blast and draw, and you retire too, because when you perform Legion, you retire a unit, and pretty much you call the Strolling Banshee out, you draw another card, therefore you fill up your field so fast. It's crazy. So it definitely shows that BlazBlue definitely has an edge against cards that like to retire stuff as well as cards that like to control the field. Because the thing is with BlazBlue that makes them separate from all the other clans is that they can just get the units from the drop zone back in. The only place that they really can't touch is the damage zone, which is usually reserved for Angel Feathers. But with BlazBlue you don't have to worry because you have cards that get stuff from the deck with the Marshmallow Pirate. They can just like guard and then send a random BlazBlue unit from the deck to the drop zone, which is pretty good. You have cards that mill cards in order to gain effects, whether it's Ruin Shade or the Vanguard booster to, gain power. And then you have other units that say, okay, when it's called from the drop zone, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. Pretty much kind of like a Doreen clone, except that it's from the drop zone rather than the deck. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Sarah put on quite a show that BlazBlue can definitely be good against heavy retire decks. Like Narukami, like Kagero. It's good. I feel like a lot of people might go with BlazBlue, especially when the Legion format really starts to get going. So when we see him actually perform Legion, he did all the attacks, and Sarah thought he was going to get it. Naoki, fortunately, he blocked the last attack or so. Of course, Sarah was like, alright, I'm going to survive this turn, because I have card advantage, and you have no idea how to stop me. So then he goes in to the Cross-Ride Legion, which is, of course not, he didn't Cross-Ride Legion over it, but he did go to Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Buster. And then he performed Legion, which of course this is the first announced Cross-Ride Legion for the series, at least in the anime, where we get to see an even more broken combo than the previous one, which happened to be Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. Because Big Bang Knuckle Dragon was Vermilion, you could just attack all units in the front row. Big Bang Knuckle Buster just takes it up even a notch further, because now you can choose which 4 units you want to attack and attack them. So it's as if you can actually attack both rear guard columns, and you can get rid of them, but you won't be able to attack the Vanguard. So a lot of times people say, oh yeah, I'm going to attack the Vanguard, your whole front row, and snipe out a booster. So not even the back row could be saved from this attack. And that's actually pretty interesting, because it does give into perspective, oh crud, I'm going to lose out quite a number of units from this. Of course, Sarah guards it, he's at 5 damage already, but what he doesn't realize, though, is that since there were 3 units that were retired in one attack, or maybe 4, I wasn't so sure with the counting, there were 2 boosters on the rear guard columns that gained power for each unit that was actually retired during the battle phase, which could be pretty broken because now they're swinging for over 24k, and Sarah can't block them all. So finally, we get to see the 6 damage, and it wasn't a heal trigger. So therefore, we see the very first victory of, the mates that are seeking Aichi against the Quattro Knights. Naoki actually led the charge and defeated Sarah. And the thing is, though, he could have said, oh wow, this is awesome, now we get the final judgment. Naoki probably did the most bad manners move I've ever seen. I played Hearthstone a lot, and I don't think I've seen that much bad manners than what Naoki did after the match was over. He pretty much said, "Oh right, there was one other thing. Oh yeah, Judgment." And I was like, "Oh, Naoki, come on, man. I know that you're kind of pissed at losing to him, but the thing is, though, Sarah went up against Kamui. Unless that was supposed to be another one. I know that Naoki definitely went. I'm starting to lose the focus on who battled who. I know that Rati battled Masaki. We had oh yeah, it was Sarah. Yeah, Sarah faced against Kamui. Naoki went up against the Butler. He won, but then he went up against the I think it was either Galliard or Neve. And then Kai went up against Galliard, lost, and then he went up to Corin. But all that aside, we have here the first victory finally, and we get to see Sarah cast Judgment on him. And now we get to see, oh snap, this is going to be good, because now one of the seals is broken. And so far, the rest of the Quadranites, as well as Corin, they noticed that one of the seals dropped. Pretty much just sunk into the ground and just went kaput. So now they notice that Sarah was the first to fall, and now the rest of the Quadranites, they have to gather up, and now they're going off to face the rest of Aichi's mates. And of course, Sarah's knocked out from, Judgment, and so everyone's like, oh wow, we actually have a chance now. It seems like all that training with Leon actually paid off in the long run. So now that they get their first victory, now they know what they have to do exactly in order to reach Aichi and get some answers finally. Of course, Aichi gave him an answer before, but he didn't even face them, and he gave these answers like, please don't pursue me, please don't come after me, I don't want to meet you, goodbye. They of course need a bit more answers than, at least for Aichi to look them in the eye and say that. That will probably be confirmation enough, but of course, we're going to see what happens after they get through all four of the Quadranites and hopefully Corin, in order to get to Aichi and figure out what the hell is going on. Now, as they move on, they're starting to get prepared for the next match. So we're wondering who is going to go up first. Well, with the preview for the next episode that I've seen, at least on the Cardfight Vanguard wiki, you get to see Iron Will. So it seems that Neve is going to be the second to go up, and we don't know who, at least I don't know who, is going to go up next, but I hope it's going to be either Kamui or Masaki, because we're going to have ourselves an interesting fight, and I can't wait to have Neve cast Judgment on him. I'm not sure if frickin' Rati can take it, but maybe, I don't know, I'm looking forward to see if Neve is actually going to cast Judgment on him as well. So it's going to be a very, very good one. So, that's it for the episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed, at least this analysis or coverage of it. Of course, if I missed anything, feel free to comment down below and get a conversation started. And now let's get to the results of our local. So I didn't get much results from the Friday tournament, if there was any, but of course we at least have the Saturday tournament to report on. There were 10 people that reported in for the Cardfight Vanguard tournament on Saturday, and pretty much this is how it went, at least from my perspective. First round I went up against Alex in a rematch. He was using the Ethics Busters and putting in more reverse than usual. But my main difference, the change I made to my Dimensional Robo deck, I replaced one of the Die Braves, which is the grade 1, Counter Blast 1 if it hits, draw a card. I replaced that one with a second reverse Dayusha. And it worked, because I have 10 grade 3s now in my deck, and it's actually running pretty damn well. So, as we move on, I actually get to see, oh wow, this is actually working out pretty nicely now. So, as we get to the first match, pretty much I went with him because I had the Break Right combo in effect, because Alex didn't have enough to guard. I had Glory Maker as well as Great Dayusha on deck for 3 damage. He didn't have enough to guard. I got a critical trigger to put him at 3, to put him to 6 damage. Since I broke road over Break Right. I always tend to do that now. And it seems that was a theme for the tournament. Because I had the extra crit, I got him to 6 damage. Second game, he was Gradelock that won. Couldn't really do much about that. Second round, I went up against, I think it was either the one of the new kids actually, and yeah, it was one of the new kids. His name is John. He ran an Oracle Think Tank deck, which kind of resembled the very first version of Oracle Think Tank I ever played against. I remember I saw the Black Cat, which is something I didn't really put in, but I saw CEO. He only had 1 copy though. He had the trial deck version of the the when placed on Vanguard, return all units to the hand. and he just wasn't able to make really much of the numbers. He had milk in hand, and he was able to conserve his hand so that he can at least hit 21 or even 24 for that matter, because that 10k booster, it can really do damage, especially against cross rides. And what happened was, I just managed to get the break ride combo off. I think I saw him use a perfect guard once or twice, but he wasn't able to really overcome it after. And I managed to also abuse the reverse skill of reverse Dayusha, which minus 10k him, and since he didn't have an 11k Vanguard, he actually went down to 0, so he had to even drop more cards to guard with, and that's how I won my second game. Third game, I actually went up against Trigger Travis, who apparently one of the really rise upcoming card fighters in our local, and he's been really doing well with Avengers. I don't know, he's been going undefeated, really topping consistently with it. He knows his stuff. So, of course I go into this thing a little bit hesitant about it. First game he beats me because of Raging Form. He got the crits when he needed him, put me at 6. Second game he got Gradelocked at 1. Okay, and then grade 3, it all came down to me break riding reverse Dayusha, and he was at 4 damage. So I had to, okay, he put down 3 10k shields, so I had to get either, and I was swinging for 28k. It seemed that I had to get a perfect guard, get a grade 3 in the trigger or 2 grade 3s to pass through. I think it ended up being a Great Dayusha. It was Great Dayusha, not Reverse Dayusha. So Broco Great Dayusha over Daikaiser puts down, okay, I gotta do this. Because if I don't, I'm done with. I pretty much set up my field so that I can get this ready. And I had to put all on Vanguard. First check, Reverse Dayusha. Retire the 10k, okay. Second check, Reverse Dayusha. Retire the other 10k shield, take 2 damage. And it worked. And that's how I won the match. And it seemed that, yes, that 10th grade 3 helped me out so much in the long run. And I was like, okay, I should definitely keep going with this. And the 4th round, I went up against Jason. He also went undefeated with Avengers. First round, I just got, the setups. I managed to do a great grade 2 rush to make sure that he takes the damage. And I had the break ride combo with him because he said, alright, you get the grade 3 and you get it. I got the grade 3 on Daikaiser over Daikaiser. And then the second game, I managed to do it again because now I realized that if I have, say, a Daikaiser on Vanguard, and then if I have another Daikaiser in my hand, as well as either Great or Reverse Dayusha, or even regular Dayusha, I first break ride over break ride, then break ride again. Therefore, a lot of times people would drop at least 1 perfect guard and a couple cards from their hand, just in the hopes that I don't have it. Of course, it kind of bluffs a little bit because, I have already 2 grade 3s in my hand that I plan to break ride and break ride, as well as my Vanguard. So that means it's minus 7. So I have 7 grade 3 units that will hopefully not damage checked in, the process of me leading up to this moment to even put more pressure on them. And so I ended up going undefeated with, the D-Robos, got first place. So alright, I'm back in the running at least. And the other 3 people that topped with me were Jason, of course, since he was the other undefeated. 3-1 Avengers. The other one who topped with us was Eric. He was running Avengers as well. And we have Josh with Chaos Breaker Dragon. So we had 1 D-Robos, 2 Avengers, and Chaos Breaker Dragon in the top 4 for today. And of course, top 4 when we split, we picked up all the buddy fights. Josh picked up the Jackknife Trial Deck. I picked up boosters from set 3. I managed to get the gold, which was the triple rare Katana World card. That's like Vermilion. And Eric picked up another trial deck. And Jason picked up boosters, I think, as well. So it was actually a whole Cardfight. We're playing Cardfight Vanguard to get Buddyfight boosters because it's sweeping our locals. A lot of people getting into it. Josh just got into it, like really. He already got the 2 trial decks. I helped him out with some of the stuff from Dragon World, and it's actually been working out pretty well for us. I finally finished up the Dungeon World Terra deck. And I'm waiting to get the other pieces so I can do a strict dungeon world deck because I'm looking very much forward to that. But aside from that, some other news that I have to report on. Arturo, he wasn't on our local this week because he was actually over in California at the Anime Expo for a Buddyfight tournament. Since he actually won first in the Ohio Regional, he now placed first in the Buddyfight National Tournament. So we have a national champion, and I am so proud of him because, wow. And he was running the Dungeon World too. He was running the mix of adventurers and dungeon enemies because Continue is a great card. If you don't know what Continue is pretty much say, alright, I think you pay a gauge, whatever. You get an adventurer and a dungeon enemy. You place them on the field. And with the size 1 monsters that Buddyfight has, especially for Dungeon World, they are completely broken. And he also runs the Doges in there as well. And I feel that's a very interesting move for Bushido to make, to capitalize on this Doge meme to actually make it an archetype within Dungeon World. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Big props to Arturo. I really hope you can just take this to Nationals, and not even beyond Nationals, go to Worlds, and face people from around the world, and we'll see what happens. And the thing is, though, it's really having a ripple effect, because now almost everybody on Team Gradelock is going for Buddyfight. It's you know, some of those matches can be short, it can be quick, it can be so much fun, and there's so many like mini games to do. I was playtesting my Terra Dungeon World deck with Ryan, who was running Katana World, and it was so much fun because we did multiple matches so much, and we ended up like one of my favorite cards from the Buddyfight is actually called Dangerous Fuse, which pretty much when I play it, I look at the top 2 cards from the deck, I reveal one of them, and so it's pretty much a mini game such as, okay, which one of these cards is Divine Protection of Shalshana? Okay, shuffle them up, you choose one. If you choose this right, both of the cards go to my hand. If you choose this wrong, both of the cards go to the gauge. So it's kind of a win-win either way, but it does help for you to get a +1 to the hand. And it's kind of fun to do that as well. And there's also mini games too, where pretty much you play rock, paper, scissors, shoe, and say if you win it, you deal damage to your opponent. And of course, other worlds like Danger World, if you win, you get to deal 2 damage to your opponent after you break their weapon. So I feel that Bushido would really hit it big with Buddyfight, and I think it's going to be a huge ripple effect through the rest of our locals. A lot of people are going to be heading into it, and a lot of people might be dropping Cardfight Vanguard, but people might just be playing Cardfight Vanguard to just get Buddyfight, boosters, because of course we already made these decks. We put money and effort into getting them, and might as well use it and play. Of course, a lot of us we kind of take it a little bit easy because we want to get new. Of course, Gradelock happens, double crit happens, and just luck stacking happens in general, but I know I feel that at least as the locals we get to at least say that, alright, just like what Jason says, this is the game we play. And it kind of says, alright, competitive Vanguard is pretty hard to really get into, because of course stuff like this happens, but there are always those moments where the plan has to actually go into play. Of course, when I told you about I had to get 2 grade 3s or grade 3 and trigger the pass against Trigger Travis, of course, it was kind of the same way at the regional last year, where I was running Tsukiyomi, and I had to, Coco, look at the top deck, alright, Counterblast 2, draw 2, put 1 in the soul, alright, and then get it. I hit the stack, so I got the double crit, and actually went in for game, because the next turn, I probably would have lost. It's pretty much kind of something like that. If you can set up for the play, and hopefully if you get it, but if not, then oh well, looks like you can just play another game. And I don't know, that's pretty much what the team's focusing on right now. I know that in terms of getting recording equipment all together, I know that Henry, CK, John are trying to get, we already got tripods, we have arms for the tripod, we have an extra tripod, I guess. We just need a good recording camera, because I know the major thing with Team Gradelock right now, we want to try and put out a lot of HD videos. I know that at least these Unlocked Week videos, they're just simple vlogs of me just talking to you about our team, our local results, any other news that pops up in Vanguard, and at least what the future can hold for us. And with it, it looks pretty bright, because I know I've been talking for the past few weeks, especially on how Team Gradelock is actually branching out a bit. Although Cardfight Vanguard is our core, and of course we'll break down the episode or whatnot. But of course, we also kind of look for suggestions as well. If you actually want to see if you want Buddyfight episode breakdowns, I'll be more than happy to break down the latest episode for you guys, of course, in a separate video. And then if you want, we can even try and do more content. Of course, the casual series has been a bit lacking in the past week or so. Well, of course, tomorrow I finally finish up the anime-style casual series, where it's a best of one between the Jewel Knights and Steel Dragons, the matchup that's been requested quite a bit from a few of our fans. And so we finally did it. And then we're going to try and see if we can do more. I know that CK, actually, he wasn't at our locals this past few weeks now, because he's actually been training up for EVO, because he's actually been practicing BlazBlue, and he wants to really compete at EVO and see if he can try and get at least on stage or even top. And I think that would be an amazing thing for Team Gradelock to have a player that actually went to Evo, competed, went on stage, and possibly even top. So I'm rooting for him. I know Evo is going to be this week, so I think a lot of us at Team Gradelock, we're going to be watching it during the Cardfight Vanguard tournament or even after, just to see, oh, CK, when are you going to come on, so we can just, see and cheer for you and stuff like that. Because he's definitely one of the best, BlazBlue players that we have. And then also, with Arturo just branching off in the buddy fight and just completely kicking ass, being like analytical and just learning how it is from, the Mary Sue deck and, those prices for Magical are kind of jumping up a bit to Dungeon World and winning the national tournament. This is unheard of. So I'm very happy about this. I'm very happy of the expansion that Team Gradelock is having into video games, into other trading card games, and our evolution. Because when we started up this YouTube channel like 2-3 years ago, and I never thought it would come to this where we have members that are branching out. They can do their own things, and it just it comes back to us, and I just promote that. I tell them what our team has been up to as of late. And of course, there's also been other people that actually want to come on our team. And if you want, we can actually try and do a casual series if we can get a simple HD recording camera to record all of the matches, and hopefully that'll work. Unless either, say, somebody calls my phone or if the battery doesn't run out. Hopefully without many interruptions. But that's some of the projects that we're going to be going into. In terms of the Domino Pairs video, it's kind of been put on hold because we have to end up getting a consistent HD recording camera. That's not a phone, because we had to use Alex's phone, we had to use Jason's phone, I had to use my phone for some of it. And, sometimes either they call us, storage runs out, and whatnot. So we're trying to see what we can do. I know that Ryan has at least a camera that can record in 720p, so that's at least good enough for at least HD. And see what we can branch off. I know that we're trying to get more video recording equipment. I'm gonna try to see if I can get another video recording equipment so I can make at least these vlogs a little bit more HD quality above the 360p variant. And if I can probably try and film it in a more, say, professional environment, if I may. But aside from that, that's pretty much what at least the now and at least the near future is. Oh, and before, one more thing. This week is going to be the sneak peek for Set 14 Brilliant Strike. Oh, we're going to see Azel Scissors, we're going to see Dauntless reverse, we're going to see Ashley reverse, and we're going to see a little card known as Minerva. If you don't know who that is, he's probably the one that's going to take the whole thing by storm. Because apparently one of my friends, he actually told me that the pre-release prices are already up for the singles from Set 14. And Minerva is starting off at $50. She was priced higher than both Chaos Breaker Dragon and Novell. And Raging Form. Because the thing is though, it's not just her that makes the deck, it's the whole support around the deck. Of course, Chaos Breaker has Colony Maker and Palladium. Novell has Novo Critic, as well as, Cruel Dragon. And then you have Raging Form, where you have the Blast the Dark Revenger support, Tartu, and Dorans, and all that stuff, and the Break Ride Mordred. Minerva? She has so much support. She's probably one of the few. Oh, wow. Especially with the card. Let's say, when this is placed on Guardian Circle, everything that's on the Guardian Circle goes into the Soul instead of the Drop Zone. Which is pretty much the engine needed for Minerva to just restand. If you actually do that with the Quintet, well, she can restand pretty much almost so many times. It's not like she could probably do a restand for the next 2-3 turns if the opponent manages to survive that long. And I don't know, it just hit me because, of course, it's probably going to be one of the most expensive decks to make, because not only you have to focus on Minerva and all the stuff from Set 14, you also have to focus on a trial deck, because that trial deck is a cross ride for Minerva. That's an instant +1. It's simple too, because you just break ride over break ride, draw 2 plus 10k. Instant +1 on that. It's like a pot of greed that she activates when it's a break ride. So I feel like a lot of people might be going Genesis to get on Minerva to actually show that she's probably one of the best against the meta right now, especially against Novell, especially against against Novell, against Raging Form, against Chaos Breaker Dragon. And even some of the other decks as well, because restanding Vanguards are always crazy. And thing is though, with Minerva, she doesn't require you to hit, which is already pretty better than Descendant. And not only that, when she stands, she also has a +5k thing. So you don't even have to worry. You can break right over break right and swim for 23k, and then okay, you stand up again, boosts, and then you have an even more broken column for the Vanguard. So you're gonna have to perfect guard twice, or hope the guys doesn't get a crit, because you put on the Vanguard again. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go again, and I hope you're gonna hit me. I hope that you're gonna guard me again, or else you're gonna be screwed for the next few turns. Your hand is just gonna deplete into nothingness. So the thing is, though, I do have a friend's birthday party this Saturday, but I will plan to at least enter the sneak peek, hopefully the sneak peek tournament, enter there, see if I pull broken. If I pull stuff, because I literally don't need anything from that set, I think the Jewel Knights, I'm just sticking to my 4 decks of, Oracle Think Tank, Bermuda Triangles, Dark Irregulars, and Dimension Police. I'm just sticking to those 4 decks, because of course, if you make more than 4 decks, that's very money. That's money that I need. So, we're looking forward to see what set 14 is. I want to try and enter both the $30 sneak peek and the $20 sneak peek, so you should be able to see some pack opening videos, hopefully up by the end of that Saturday, if, I get back from the party, alright, to just edit everything together and make sure everything's alright. But, of course, this video is already kind of taking a bit longer, but we just have so much news to actually give you guys that we want to pack it all into one video, so it's not like, oh, you have to click on this video, this video, this video. But aside from that, this has been probably the longest Team Gradelock Unlocks Week episode I had so far this year. But I hope that you enjoyed this little journey, especially with the stuff that our Team Gradelock members are going off and doing. And besides, Arturo winning Nats and CK training up for Evo, we do have, like Henry, Alex, Jason, John, Ian. We still have, like, the network of people that are, going out to those locals every time when they can, when they can attend, just entering tournaments, practicing their skill, uploading, and just downloading these people so that they can become better players. And that's why I love just being part of this team, because everybody here is just awesome, and they all plan to, like, evolve. Like, they're not settling for, like, just who they are now. They are building up to, who they will become. And that's why I love this team. So thank you so much for watching this episode, throughout the 23 plus minutes I had here. That's it. But of course, the casual series will be uploaded tomorrow, and I'll see what I can do for another match later this week. But aside from that, I'm your host, AlphonZeus. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Team Gradelock Unlocks week, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.